We are here today, along with 32 other states, to mourn the lives of those who have passed not only today, but the 245 or 4,000 people who have died in this year alone. That should stun us, because that means somebody in this room has lost a loved one due to the fourth leading cause of poverty within our state, within our nation alone. And so we come together in unison, in one accord, one sound, one voice, one faith, one step, one prayer, one creed, one humanity, to decree and declare today that we as a state will no longer be silent. And so we will let it be known not only in our voice, but in our song. Because somebody has died and they need to be remembered. But not only do we mourn, but we also understand that we today have the ability to bring rose out of ashes. And so let's, in memory of those, be reminded in our singing and in our song of why we're here today. Somebody's hurting our people, and it's gone on far too long.
Somebody's hurting my brother, and it's gone on. Yes, it's gone on. Oh, it's gone on. Oh, Island is we hold our position in what we believe in, right? So we're going to hold on just a little while longer because we know everything's going to be all right, right? Amen. Hold on just a little while longer. Hold on just a little while longer. Hold on just a little while longer. I know justice is coming. We fight, we pray, we stand. Because we know what we see today, if we stand, we can change for tomorrow. Right?
Forward together.
Not one step back.
Exactly, exactly. So what I'm gonna do? How about we do it and gonna let nobody turn me around? And since this is a song of declaration, ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. So I'm gonna ask those. I'm gonna take a little liberty here, if you don't mind. I'm gonna ask those who physically can and will. Can you stand up on your feet? I know you just marched, but when you're making a declaration, when you're making a statement of emphasis, you want your whole body to be engaged, and it shows solidarity when we're standing because we're closer together, right? And so the words of this song is, ain't gonna let nobody turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around, turn me around. Keep on walking, keep on. Come on now. Marching up freedom land. That's right. All right, gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, keep on marching up the freedom land, all right? Here we go. Ain't gonna let no
Politics won't do it. Constitutions can't. Nobody will. Because we're going to do what? Keep on. Keep on what? Come on, y'all can do better than that. Keep on what? Up to freedom's land. Come on, put your hands together and let's remember. My name is Pastor Carl Jefferson, and I am one of the three of the tri-chairs of the Rhode Island Poor People's Campaign, a national call for moral revival here in Rhode Island. And today, we are gathered here in Providence, along with 34 other states and D.C., all across the country for our mass poor people and low-wage workers simultaneous state house assemblies. And we will not accept, today we come and we say that we will not accept poverty being the fourth leading cause of death anymore. Poverty that is abolishable and unnecessary. For we are determined to take back the mic from extremism, raise our voices and register and cast our votes as demands and wake up the sleeping giant. For we are here today mobilizing, educating, and engaging 15 million infrequent, poor, low-wage voters who have not voted in past elections. It is time to wake up the sleeping giant of poor and low-wage voters who make up more than 30% of the electorate nationwide. All over our country, if just 20 to 30% of poor and low-wage infrequent voters were moved, they can change election outcomes and political outcomes. In many places, it is less than 10%. For we know, as a pastor in the book of Deuteronomy, it states, chapter 15, it says that there need be no poor among us. For poverty and low wages are bad political choices. And we cannot be disengaged anymore from the political process. If poor and low-wage people would vote at the same time as the rate of others, every political calculation, it is stated, can shift. For the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King said at the Mass of Negro and Poor Whites, if we come together and form a voting bloc, that it could change the economic architecture of our nation. So today we have come to assemble white, black, Hispanic, Latinx, Asian, indigenous people who now represent more than 80 million voters and over 20 million that have yet not voted. For did you know that 135 million poor and low-wage people look like this in America? 60%, 24 million black people. 64%, which equals 38 million Hispanic and Latinx people. 40%, which equals 80 million Asian people. 60%, which equals 2 million of indigenous people. And 37%, 66 million of our white brothers and sisters. We can do this. And as part of the tri-chair, the religious component, I want to acknowledge all of the imams, all of the rabbis, all of the sisters of mercy that is here today, all of the mosques, all of the temples, all of the synagogues, all of the churches, all of our tribal thank you leaders. We just want to acknowledge that we are in this together. For all of our faiths, cry out for injustice. Cry out, and we recognize that we are one because we are human. And so today we, as the tri-chairs here of Rhode Island's mass campaign, we want to thank you for coming, and we have some ask of you before you leave today. We're going to hear today from those who have been impacted. You're going to hear from the tri-chairs that represent our state, that in turn represents the nation. And so we're going to ask that you just listen and see what part you play, because all of us are needed to fight this fight to change the narrative of what's going on in our nation. At this time, we're going to hear from Terry, one of our tri-chairs.
Hello, everyone. My name is Terry Wright, and I'm a tri-chair of the Rhode Island's Poor People's Campaign. And a national call for moral revival. In a moment, you will hear more about the facts and what our state assembly and legislator had not done, and why those running for the State House to the White House need to know we are not an insurrection of hate and destruction.
Yes.
We are a resurrection of power and purpose.
Yes.
Our state capitals are not just symbolic. They are the policy hubs whose decisions directly impact people facing systemic poverty and the interlocking justices.
Yes.
State assemblies, state legislators, and governors make decisions that impact the poor and low-wage people. They impact minimum wage health care, public education, housing, women's rights, voting rights, and so many more rights. We are challenging extremism in state governments, and we are challenging poverty, and low wage is the fourth leading cause of death. 800 people a day dying. It's a moral, economic, social crisis that can be abolished. On the anniversary weekend of Bloody Sunday and the Selma to Montgomery March, and just a few days before the State of the Union and Super Tuesday, we are saying from state houses all over the nation, we won't be silent or ignored anymore. The number one reason poor and low-wage people don't vote is because nobody talks to them or includes their issues in public political debates. There are over 135 million poor and low-wage, low-income people in this nation. Over 52 million low-wage workers who make less than a livable wage in their state. That's less than $15 an hour.
Tell it.
That's just something to think about. How are we going to survive? Next, you'll hear from Pamela, our tri-chair.
Somebody's hurting our people, and it's gone on far too long.
And we won't be silent anymore. I'm Pamela Poniatowski, tri-chair of the Rhode Island Poor People's Campaign. Today we did not come for a day, but to launch a massive 40-week campaign to mobilize poor and low-wage voters, to wake the sleeping giant. Poor or low-wage people don't have to accept this.
Yes.
This primary season and in November, we will be voting our demands at the ballot box. We know the power state houses have in impacting policy, which is why we demand abolishing poverty as the fourth leading cause of death in the U.S. A living minimum wage of at least $16+ an hour. And we know that it takes over $25 an hour for a family of 4, 2 adults and 2 children, to make it. Which means that they have to work 85 hours a week.
Make it plain.
Does that sound right to you? No. We demand full and expanded voting rights. We demand no more voter suppression.
We demand.
We demand guaranteed workers' rights and labor rights.
We demand.
We demand health care for all.
We demand.
We demand affordable, adequate housing, and
We
that
demand.
means
Tell it.
affordable for all of us.
Tell it.
$2,000 a month.
We demand.
A week, a month is not affordable for me, at least. We demand an end to gun violence, profit, and proliferation.
We demand.
We demand fully protected women's rights.
We demand.
We demand environmental justice that secures clean air and water.
We demand.
We demand fully funded public education.
We demand.
We demand just immigration laws.
We demand.
And we especially demand an end to hate, division, and the extremist political agenda.
We demand.
Today we are joined by poor and low-wage workers, faith leaders, and advocates to send a message to the legislators responsible for the unrelenting policy violence against the poor and low-income people, that we won't be silent anymore. We will hear from those who are the faces of these facts. Let me shout out all the fusion coalitions mobilizing with us today.
Yes.
The Rhode Island Coalition to End Poverty, the George Wiley Center, East Bay Citizens for Peace, the Economic Progress Institute, Just Peace Rhode Island, Rhode Island Interfaith Coalition to Reduce Poverty, Mathewson Street United Methodist Church, members of Providence Friends Meeting, No Endless War and Excessive Militarism, Pax Christi Rhode Island, Rhode Island Homeless Advocacy Project, Rhode Island Housing Justice Organizing Committee, Rhode Island State Council of Churches, Rhode Island Predatory Lending Reform Coalition, the Sisters of Mercy Ecology, and the Sisters of Mercy Justice Team. And it's going to take all of us.
Yes.
So we all need to move together. So at this point, we need everyone here today to take out their phones and text MORAL to 38542 to become part of this moral movement to end policy violence, with poverty being the fourth leading cause of death in this country, and to help mobilize millions of poor and low-wage voters to the polls. Text MORAL to 38542. And this will be here by the end if you need to come up and look at it. Thank you so much.
Somebody's hurting our people, and it's gone on.
Far too long.
Did you know that a record number of Rhode Islanders need food assistance due to high food prices, the steep rise in housing costs, and the end of COVID-19 relief programs has caused 241,000 people right here in Rhode Island to be impacted? Did you know that 1 in 3 Rhode Island households cannot afford adequate food? Food prices have increased by 11% just in 2023, yet SNAP benefits went down by 32%. Did you know that rent increase by 14% in 2023. Yet, politicians are afraid to raise the minimum wage to $16 an hour in Rhode Island. Did you know that state taxpayers' dollars for deportations, border control killing, innocent women and children could go to, could go to help stabilizing and subsidizing 11,000 public housing units. Taxpayer dollars for nuclear weapons could provide health insurance for 34,000 children. Did you know? Moving resources to where they are most needed will not only save lives, it will benefit our economy overall. For every dollar going to poor or low-income household stimulates the economy more than giving dollars to the wealthy or to the war economy. And it could create jobs that sustains our communities. We ask, why should you get involved? Because in 2021 alone, 185,000 children received the expanded child tax credit, and 48,000 low-wage workers received the expanded earned income tax credit. Since these pandemic programs have expired, listen to this, poverty has been on the rise, proving that poverty is a policy choice. It's a choice, meaning that something can be done about it. For we may not run this economy, but we make it run. Did you hear what I said? We may not make the economy, but we low-wage workers make it run. Did you know that in Rhode Island there are 149,802 people, 27% of the workforce earning less than, say less than. Say it like you know what I'm saying, less than $15 an hour minimum wage to meet their basic, did you hear me, basic needs. A household with 2 adults, as Pamela stated, and 2 children needs to earn over $26 an hour. Somebody's tired. I'm tired because I just did what was just stated here. However, the current minimum wage is just $14 an hour. At this wage, an individual must work 85 hours a week. 85 hours a week. And you wonder why children are going unnoticed, unfed. 85 hours a week to afford a modest 2-bedroom apartment in Rhode Island alone. Did you know that there are 330,000 poor, low-wage wealth people, 1/3 of Rhode Island population, and among these 240,000, out of this 240,000 voters make up 25% of the electorate. What would we do if we in Rhode Island alone would make our voices known?
Yes.
Did you know that the states where the margin of victory was less than 3% of poor and low-wage voters make up more than 30% of the electorate, and as Bishop Barber would say, can fundamentally shift the elections in the states?
Right.
And it does not have to be this way anymore. For poverty and low-wage policy choices, we have to change. For it is not the failure of the people, it is the failure of the policy murder that's taking place in our country. We're going to hear from another tri-chair, Juan Pablo, and then we're going to hear from impacted people. Are we doing all right? You all right? You all are getting educated? Because at the end of the day, we need you to be a part of this movement. Organizations are all here, and we thank you for what you do. But if we all come together Did you hear what I say? When we all will come together, we can change not only our state, but also our nation. Juan Pablo.
My name is Juan Pablo Campo, and I am interim tri-chair to the Rhode Island Poor People's Campaign. I am heartbroken and angry because when I look at what the state, our legislature has done for us, they've done wrong. They are actively choosing policies that hurt us. They are actively choosing to send and submit legislation for votes to suppress voters in Rhode Island. Over 16 different legislations were submitted last year alone just to repress voters here in Rhode Island. And we know how it works in our states, and we know how they push and push until they can put a voter ID law, and until they can forbid people to go on certain days. And the most obvious thing to do to have enough people voting is to do it a holiday. It's to do it a pause day. It's to do it a non-working day, and that is easy. And they have not done that. The list of what they have not done is too damn long. The number of people that are going to be hurt and are getting hurt right now, and the fact that 800 people are dying every day from poverty, and the fact that it's a policy choice, like Carl just said right now, it's a policy choice, and they're choosing to do nothing. And they are choosing to put in place other laws that hurt us further. What we are seeing right now, I don't have to tell you. I don't have to tell you how many that the home crisis is on the rise. I don't have to tell you that poverty is on the rise, because you can see it. Because you know somebody that has to choose between paying rent or paying their utilities. Because you know somebody that had just received SNAP and they cut their electricity off. And then all of that they got goes to waste. Because you know somebody that is hurting right now. And that there are policies in place, and that there is plenty of money to protect our families. There is plenty of money to protect our families. Right now, the federal government, that's just last year, the federal government spent $1.1 trillion, a number that I cannot fathom, I cannot understand, but $1.1 trillion on war and weapons and mass incarceration and deportations and detentions. In Rhode Island, our money is being used for all of this. And the taxpayer money that is being used right now here in Rhode Island, that it goes for deportations and border control. That money alone that you are paying, that we've been paying, could provide 11,000 public housing units. The money that has been collected from us here in Rhode Island, that goes to be spent to nuclear weapons, could give health insurance, just the money from the taxpayers in Rhode Island, could give health insurance to 34,000 children. 34,000. One more time, I want to say that number, because right now we're over 100 people in this room. Want to take that image and multiply that by 340. And think of all of them as children. So think of the 34,000 children faces that we could be helping right now, that we could give the health insurance that they need and they have a human right to.
Human right.
All of this can be done tomorrow. All of this can be done today. And we are going to be going next week to the State House to give all of our demands, everything that you've seen today, to give them in person to each member of the House, to each member of the Senate. We are not going to be sitting waiting for the candidate to come up. We have the agenda. And it is up to the candidates to finally take us seriously as voters, and for us to organize our 25% of Rhode Island voters who are low and poor and income and who are ready to take back the mic.
Yes. Thank you.
Say, take back the mic.
Take back the mic.
And how we can do that is by that number you could put on the text. At this moment, we want to recognize, as we have already, those that are lying in these caskets. And so, the Poor People's Campaign is a national call for moral revival. As what was stated, we're not into insurrections, we're into resurrections. And so we're going to call on the moral leaders, the religious leaders in our state. If you are one here today, we want to recognize you, but we're going to ask at this time, as we hear from our psalmist, because in songs, it speaks of, it laments, it's a cry out, it is a cry for, it is a recognizing that beyond ourselves, we look to the hills, as the scriptures would say, which cometh our help. For we know that we cannot do this alone, but we need each other, and we need the source that has created all of humanity to come together. And as we hear, everybody's got a right to live, or whichever way the psalmist leads us. We're going to then hear from Pastor Santiago Rodriguez. Standing with him will be Chris Foster, Daisy Benitez, and Daniel Benitez, as they will then lead us into a litany as a reminder of why we are here. Thank you, Tri-Cheers.
And as Pastor Carl said, we're also declaring that everybody, no matter where we are, who we are, everyone has a right to live. Everyone has a right to freedom. Everyone has a right to breathe. Everyone has a right to dream. Everybody. That is our right.
Sing it.
There you go. Put your hands together for me.
Got a right to live. Yes.
Praise the Lord. I am the Pastor Santiago Rodriguez from this church, Gloria Dei Lutheran Church. And you are very welcome. This is wonderful to see people like you, very committed with this reality of poverty. And as a church, we also we are also fighting against poverty. We define ourselves, like we can read here, as a multi-ethnic, multicultural community. So we celebrate community, diversity, justice, peace. So fight against poverty with faith is part of our agenda, our work. So that's the reason because we support this movement. So let's start our litany. We have casket because 800 people die in the U.S. every day because of lack of health care, housing, etc. We can't accept death by poverty anymore. We are remembering those who have died and committing to take action, remembering their names and memories. With a collective spirit of unity simultaneously, all across the nation and unwavering resolve, we come together today to take back the mic from extremists, raise our voices and votes, and make our power felt from the State House to the White House, to wake the sleeping giant and to be a resurrection, not an insurrection. All together, the refrain, forward together, no one step back. Let us say again, forward together, no one step back.
I am Chris Foster, a Presbyterian pastor for 35 years, which is the denomination of Reverend Dr. Liz Thea Harris, the co-founder of the national movement. We refuse to accept poverty as the fourth leading cause of death. Somebody hurting our brothers and sisters and our people, we demand justice, compassion, and unity as we stand together against all races, across all races, creeds, colors, sexualities, and geographies. Every faith tradition calls us to defend the rights of the poor.
Yes.
Our Constitution requires us to establish justice and promote the general welfare of all.
Yes.
So, forward together.
Not one step back.
Forward together.
Not one step back.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Daniel. I'm a high school student at Shea. I've been a volunteer at the George Wiley Center, and I'm learning about different groups in the community, like the Poor's People Campaign. I decided to support the efforts of the Poor's People Campaign because
He'll come back up, everybody.
You'll be coming back up to say more. So, but no, here, your turn. So if you want to just read this. Yeah, this turn.
I'm so sorry. Forward together, we will take back the mic, we will voice our demands and register our votes, which make up more than 30% of the nation's electorate. We demand an end of poverty as fourth leading cause of death. We demand a living wage of at least $50 an hour. Or 50.
50 would be good. 50 would be good.
Forward together, not one step back. Forward together,
Not one step back.
We demand an end to voter suppression and expansion of voting rights. We demand fully funded public education for all. We demand health care for all. We demand affordable and adequate housing. We demand worker and labor rights.
We demand the protection of women's rights to their bodies. We demand an end to gun violence. We demand clean air and water. We demand environmental justice.
We demand an end to the profiteering and proliferation of guns. We demand just immigration laws. We demand that love and justice, not hate and violence, guide our public policy. Forward together.
Not one step back.
We will not let the shadows of hate and fascism linger together. We come to take back the mic from extremists. We raise our voice to cast our votes against voter suppression. We will wake the sleeping giant. We are not an insurrection. We are the resurrection, and we won't be silent anymore. Forward together.
Not one step back.
Thank you for that litany. Now it's time where we are going to put a face, because we've heard a lot of the stats, we've heard a lot of the demands, but now we're going to take a brief couple of minutes where we're going to ask those who are directly impacted by what we have been sharing and talking about. And so we're going to have those come. You know who you are, who've been asked to come. So begin to prepare yourself as we put a face on these issues. For these numbers are just not numbers. They are people. We call on the poor and low-wage workers and faith leaders to testify today, because you have to hear the stories, the cases for why it is time to take back the mic from extremists and raise our voices and votes and wake the sleeping giant, and so that we will be the resurrection. And this is why we are a movement. You will hear this from those to take back the mic from the extremists. Those that will be coming who are impacted, you're going to hear them cry out as they raise their voices and cry out for the votes, to make our power felt from the State House to the White House, and to wake the sleeping giant and to be that resurrection. And so we're going to call on our first impacted, and for the sake of time, and I know, time is of the essence. Some may be at meters of different things, but let's just take a moment to hear the stories, because every face has a story. Now I'm going to ask those that are impacted to just share. Keep time of a minimum. Just give us a glimpse so that at least we can hear some of what is going on. And so within 3 minutes, within that time frame, and we've already asked of you to know how to do that. And so we're going to hear from our first impacted speaker, none other than one of our tri-chairs, Terry Wright. And then after that, we're going to hear a impacted speaker talk about living wage. We're going to hear another impacted speaker talk about health care. We're going to hear another faith leader, Pastor Santiago, will come back and just share a little bit from that perspective. And then we're going to hear stories from a speaker to encourage or talk about voting and voting suppression. And then another to come, Eric Hirsch to come and talk about adequate housing, and Harrison Tuttle to talk about the suppression of the votes. And then we will also hear from an impacted speaker to deal with women's health care. So please just give them your space, your time. And for those who already know that you are to speak, just come and let's stand together, because at this mic, we're not alone. We're not a one person, but so we're going to ask the impacted
He
speakers
is, so
to
I'm
come.
going to stand here right now.
Thank you, Pamela. So those who impacted, please come at this time. Please come. Terry, for those who already, do we have the speakers that I just stated? Just come at this time. Warren, you have that in charge. You know who they are. All right, so give them a hand as they come, because their stories are powerful. As Terry is sharing those that I know you to share, please come up and stand behind Terry.
Again, my name is Terry Wright, and I'm the tri-chair for the Poor People's Campaign, but I'm also an impacted Rhode Islander. I struggle every day, and I see the social carnage of struggle every day. I have watched politicians refuse to raise the minimum wage to a livable wage. Poor people are struggling, working families are struggling, and many have died from the weight of poverty. This must stop and must be ended. This is why poor and low-income people must vote, and also why poor and low-wage people are hesitant and do not believe in the vote because of voter suppression, which is simply voting in support of personalities and individuals and their political parties leading the public with hidden agendas and false dreams. We demand policies that address issues of systemic racism and moral change. We demand policy with we demand policy with positive results, which will change lives, and not murder poor people by leaving them to struggle. I'm organizing, and I'm a part of this movement to take the mic back from extremists. 250,000 people die every year from poverty and inequality in the US. And poverty is a systemic issue. Poverty is an unfair disadvantage that will continue to destroy the lives of poor, low-income people and working families. We demand to lift from the bottom up so everyone rises. And again, I say we demand policy with positive results, which will change lives and not murder poor people by leaving them to struggle to live. So I say from the bottom of my heart, and I speak for so many people who are not here right now, stop killing us. I'm gonna say it again, stop killing us, because this is what happens. This is policy murder. And we won't be silent anymore.
I want to use this platform to express my words, to raise my voice in solidarity with Annunciation House in Texas. Texas seek to end Catholic ministry to migrants. And today, Poor People Campaign, let me use your platform to express our solidarity and send the message to Texas, to the authorities in Texas, to end this campaign of intimidation. So the immigration is one of the bigger impact of the poverty reality in the world, in Latin America and in many sides. And this tragedy is increasing, is growing, because the immigration system is broken.
Yes. Tell it.
Yeah. This church was built for Swedish.
Swedish.
Yeah. They came here, you are from that background, no? Swedish. They came here as immigrants. 134 years, they came here as immigrants. So what happened with the last immigrant, because they were very welcome here, they were very accepted, they received all their attention, but what happened with the last immigrant that we have today? So when we start our ministry here, more or less 25 years ago, we decided to fight around this issue.
Yeah.
And we have all kind of experience working with family, with undocumented people, connecting members, family from the other side of the border and from this side, and fighting with a system to protect, to respect the life of immigrants, and telling them, to the authorities, that immigrants are not criminal.
All right, tell it.
They are not criminal. They reserve protection, good life, look for a better life. So they have the right. Criminalizing the immigrant is not a solution. So we are, yes. Yeah, immigrants here really contribute with the economy, the growing of the economy
Yes.
of this country. They pay taxes. They pay taxes, but they don't have the right to ask to return any kind of taxes. So this country have million and billion of dollars that they have taken from undocumented people.
All right.
And they don't have the right to reclaim any devolution that they pay extra. So, and many of those immigrants are overqualified because they don't have the right to work here as teacher, as doctor, as engineer, as lawyer, as nurse. Many of them have to work very long income job. They have to support all those things because we are living under a broken system. Broken system.
Yes.
So we are demanding a reform or modernization of the immigration system. Please, let us raise our voice to the whole country for a modernization of the immigration system. Call for Congress to pass an immigration reform to improve and modernize the immigration system. That's the human, that's the right thing to do. So please, be part of this. We want to say here that as people of faith, we affirm our belief and proclaim that every person is created in the image of God and deserves safety and respect. Amen.
My name is Daniel Benitez. I'm a high school student at Shea, and I've been a volunteer at the George Wiley Center, and I've been learning about different groups in the community, like the Poorest People's Campaign. I decided to support the efforts of the Poorest People's Campaign because their demands align with issues I experience on a daily basis. Systemic racism, poverty, ecological devastation, the war economy, and many other social and economic justice issues. As a Latino teenager, I have been witnessing of many different injustices due to being poor and most recently violence in my community. This past week at my school, there was an incident related to the use of weapons. Not okay. We need gun control in this country. We need more counselors at school. We need counselors at school and less uniformed people with weapons. We need to continue thriving in a safe learning environment. We need a revival of the people to stand up of what is right, stands up against injustice, stands up for an end of gun violence. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody, for being here. For those that don't know, that's my brother.
You go, girl. Come on, Daisy.
I'm happy to know that there are so many people that care about the issues that are real. And I want to thank everybody for taking the time to come here. And I want to encourage everybody not to only, it's great to show up to actions, but also make sure that you are, following the legislations that are in your community, that are being proposed, that will impact those of us who are poor. So besides coming here, please also take a moment today to take action, whether it's telling somebody about the legislations out there that will benefit you and your community and us, or even if it's sharing something with your community, word of mouth, social media, anything makes a difference. And I know plenty of you are doing it already, and I want to thank you for that. Yes. I want to add that I also agree with my brother, and I agree with a lot of, unfair policies and the unfair system. I agree, I'm against the unfair system, and we need to do more. That is very true, we need to do more. I'm here to speak on behalf of the George Wiley Center. My name is Daisy, but before I go into speaking about what I had initially planned, I just want to add that all the issues are important. For me, immigration is one of them. Yes. It took me some years. I'm still healing. I want to say my traumas are a result of the unfair immigration system. And I'm the face of those directly impacted too. I want to ask everybody the same, as for other policies, to take action today, do something about the unfair immigration laws.
Yes. Here, here. Here, here.
haven't been able to speak about this in public for about maybe 4 years since another action back at the Wyatt Center. It's taking me days and weeks of therapy, but my father was deported years ago. He was part of our community, and I don't wish what happened to my family upon anybody. I want to ask everybody again to stand up for what's right, stand up against the unfair immigration issues, unfair poverty, stand up for everything that you know is right. Because we are alive today, we don't know what will happen tomorrow. We live in very poor communities. Like my brother said, we are experiencing violence every day. We don't know if we're gonna wake up the next day alive. So please fight for what is right. And among those issues that really matter to me are utilities. Utilities are an important matter, and I'm going to start what I had planned to share with you. I will begin that. And as you know, I'm with the George Wiley Center. Also started as a volunteer like my brother. And we are a grassroots organization working around issues of social and economic justice. I love the George Wiley Center. We support the PPC's movement. Because poverty is an issue that is killing people.
Yes.
Killing people like me, killing people like you, killing people like everybody across this room. In the state of Rhode Island and in other places too. We particularly do not endorse politicians, but as individuals at the George Wiley Center and in other places too, each one of us will choose the person who we think will support our needs. Alleviating the burdens that poverty brings to our lives is something that should be heard and acted upon. When we vote, we hope that the people we elect will help pass legislation that impacts us in a good way.
Well,
And it's sad when that doesn't happen.
well.
So we ask, again, those who are already in office to pay close attention to their constituents' needs, as it was also mentioned earlier. There are people dying, I want to emphasize that, because they cannot afford a lot of things, including medication, food, housing, utilities, and much more. The majority of our members are working class, low income, fixed income, or have no income at all. Even the unhoused are fighting with us to pass the legislations that we are proposing, which is awesome. It shows that they care too. Even if some of them don't have utilities at all, even if some of them don't have a roof over their head, they are still fighting the fight. And I want to acknowledge that. At the George Wiley Center, I believe all of us, if not most of us, experience poverty firsthand. There was a person with multiple sclerosis this summer who was facing utility termination. She was in the Providence Journal if you all want to read about it. She had voiced her need to the utility providers and nothing got done until she reached out to us, the George Wiley Center. And we helped her. But unfortunately, not everybody qualifies for the programs, the utility programs that are already in place. And we need stronger protections and affordable utility rates for the poor. That is one of the most important necessities that a human being has. And we have a right to it. They're a human right, not a privilege. And we brought with us today a banner with a QR code, and we want to invite everybody to take action. If you can, take out your phones and scan that QR code. If you can't scan it right now, just take a picture of it. Take a picture, and you can do it, in your own time. But if you can, if you're available, do it right now, please. That's the way to take action today. That's a way to do something today.
Today. All right.
And that's what we stand for at the George Wiley Center. Social and economic justice. Thank you.
Right.
You've seen me before already. For 7 years, I've been listening to the stories of impacted folks in the Poor People's Campaign. In Rhode Island, in Washington State, in Maryland, in Montgomery County, Maryland, in Washington, D.C., and now back in Rhode Island again. Wow. 7 years. So today I'm speaking about disparities in healthcare, because that is where I move in ministry these days. I see it every week in my work as a hospice chaplain, the stress of multiple jobs on families trying to care for loved ones, the lack of access to quality health care that brings people to us much younger than they should at the end of life, experiencing life-threatening illnesses. In my experience these last 3 years as a hospice chaplain in Rhode Island, I would say that the same illness in a person who is impacted by poverty and someone who has abundant health resources is a 10-year difference. People are likely dying, in my experience in working with families and patients, 10 years younger of the same illness, because of environmental factors, because of utility cutoffs, because of the stress of immigration issues, because of so many things, many of which you are all involved in here. So here are 3 people and their stories that I have met in the last year. Michael, who worked his whole life in jobs where he was exposed to environmental chemicals which burned holes in his lungs, came to us gasping for breath. His family told me he had always felt pride in his work, which he started when he was a teenager to help support his mother, who worked in similar fields and had been affected in the same ways that he was now dying from. Mary, who was overwhelmed by mental health needs and her own medical needs, which could not be easily tended by her family, whose children were already stretched and working several jobs to try to make ends meet and supporting her in her final days. She died at 64, which is incredibly close to my age now. Thomas, living on the streets of Rhode Island. After his medical needs forced him to lose his job at the beginning of the pandemic without resources to work from home, he lost his house and lived on the streets as he had no family up here after working decades in Rhode Island. He loved Rhode Island. He was sent to us from the emergency room at the hospital because he was septic. We thought about helping him make it possible for him to go back to his family in another state, but he told us he knows that he has a brother and mother there who are dying, and his family's already stretched beyond belief caring for them. There was no one to care for him there. Did you know that a poor or low-income person who got COVID in those early years of 2020 was 3 to 5 times more likely to die from it? Those poor and low-income folks were the people that showed up at the grocery store so that we could wear our masks and shop there, who delivered food to those of us who had the privilege of working at home. They died 3 to 5 times more likely. These are systemic and interlocking issues. For those of us who have been working in trying to make a difference in legislation and one person at a time in pastoral ministry, we must think systemically about this. And this is why we need a fusion movement with all people at the table. This is why we need a room like this filled, listening to impacted people, because we are all God's people. If we are people of faith, that's what our faith teaches us. We can make different policy choices. And you've heard the organizations that are coming together to make that happen. If we listen to those who are most affected and we come together for change. And this is why, for the first time in 7 years of following this movement and showing up for this movement, I'm in this movement to take back the mic from the extremists that depress us, to raise our voices and votes and make our power felt at all levels of government with whatever issue we are passionate about, to wake the sleeping giant and really speak to the issues that deal with poverty in our day so that we can be a non-violent resurrection, not an insurrection. Will you join with me?
We're gonna hear from a couple of others just to share their stories. Are we okay with that? All right, I know time is of the essence and all, but let's hear from 3 others. Thank you. Come on, put your hands together for these impacted, and we're gonna ask for the others to come at this point, as well as Joe Benson, the board chair of DARE, to come, as well as my sisters here. Let's continue to hear, because this is important. This is what matters most, is to hear how poverty is hurting our people. Also, we just want to acknowledge Camillo of the George Wiley Center for an exceptional job that he is doing.
Hi everyone, I just want to say you're really good listeners. I teach 3rd grade, so I'm not used to this. And I just want to give you an invitation. I'm literally undistractable, so like if you need to move your body, if you need to breathe or do something, like do you, because I'm undistractable. So my name is Lindsay Paiva. I teach 3rd grade multilingual learners in Providence Public Schools. And unfortunately, since the state takeover of the public schools in 2019, students, families, and educators have been disrespected, ignored, and cast aside while our schools remain underfunded and poorly run. And now we're facing a crippling budget deficit, unapologetic school closures, and some of the worst conditions in our school since I started teaching in the district. Despite the severe need for socio-emotional support that our students need, the district continues to cut positions that support their mental health. Yesterday, every elementary guidance counselor in Providence Public Schools received a displacement letter. We have a large percentage of students with special education needs and others who are multilingual learners and some who are dually identified. These students require specialized services and more staff to support their unique needs per federal law, but these mandates do not include federal funding. And between our broken and toothless school funding formula and the utter lack of accountability for cities and towns who decide not to fully fund their schools, Providence and other urban centers in Rhode Island operate on a budget deficit every year, while wealthy districts see increases in per pupil spending. So we have to do more, but with less, and then we're punished for it when we're not able to. But I do have one idea. I have a lot of ideas, but I have one. So I was thinking maybe we could just shave like a teeny tiny fraction off of the Pentagon budget maybe? Yeah. Or even like the budget for Homeland Security. Yeah. You know, the one that terrorizes and tortures our immigrant families and students. And instead, maybe we could just use that money to educate them. Y'all, you down? All right. So in their December presentation to the school board, a school board, mind you, that has no actual power right now, thanks to the draconian and ineffective state takeover, Providence public school officials said that we can expect a $15 to $30 million deficit in the 2025 school year for our schools. And in response to this looming deficit, the district froze all school budgets as of this January. No more hiring staff, no more supplies, no more purchase orders. In my school, we are on our last box of paper. We have no tissues. We have to use money from our school's student activities fund to buy basic supplies. And that's supposed to be a fund to take them on field trips, to plan events for families. And now we have to buy toner and paper. We have a hiring freeze right now. Nobody can be hired. Meanwhile, we have over 110 classroom vacancies right now. And we had over 100 teachers receive displacement letters yesterday. According to one national study in 2021, Rhode Island had a greater funding gap between its, I'm gonna read this slow because I was like, what? Rhode Island had a higher funding gap between its higher and lower poverty districts than all but 2 states, people. 50, there's 50 of them, okay? So think about that. Rhode Island has the 3rd most inequitable funding of public education in our country. Wow. And in the midst of a state takeover and a casual pandemic at the same time, state and district officials squandered our COVID relief money and our ESSER funds without the input of community members, students, or teachers. They got some expensive contracts with some consultants. We have some curricular materials that are sitting in warehouses all over Providence, unused. And they use that money to fill cubicles with managers and administrators while classrooms remain empty. The fact that this is happening all over the country and is a national trend is not an excuse in this state. It is enraging, and it is mobilizing, and it is not an explanation for the complete lack of accountability on the state and city's parts, not only for the past, since the takeover, for decades of underfunding our schools and under-resourcing what our students deserve. And we've had enough. We're not gonna accept this deficit narrative. We already know there is enough, and we demand it for our students and our schools. For me, it's time to empty the cubicles and start filling the classrooms. We demand fully funded public schools, an end to the state takeover, and a return to local control. As one of the Newton teachers said in their recent strike, you will not balance your budget on the backs of our students. Thank you.
We're just so thankful for the impactful voices that we've heard that has talked about education, gun violence, environmental justice, as well as immigration. At this time, we're going to hear from a couple of organizations. They're going to come and share at this time in their right and respectful places. Remember, 3 minutes per. So the first, where's my sister? All right, come and introduce yourself, please. Organization you're with. We are just so thankful that we have organizations within our state that are doing their part and have come along, Poor People's Campaign, to be a voice to move this movement.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for being here today. My name is Wayona Nelson Davies. I'm the Executive Director of the Economic Progress Institute. We're a policy, advocacy, and research organization fighting for racial and economic justice for Rhode Islanders. What you're hearing here today is the sounding of an alarm. We are sounding the alarm that people are dying, not just from gun violence or war. They are dying because of poverty. Poverty has happened because of policy choices leaders in Rhode Island and the United States have made or refuse to make. Today, we are here to sound the alarm. To sound the alarm that even though we have an outdated measure of poverty, we continue to use it to justify the investments we're making in communities. In 2022, the Economic Progress Institute, using our Rhode Island Standard of Need measure, which is more accurate, showed that 70% of working single parents with 2 children could not afford to pay for housing, food, healthcare, utilities, transportation, basic needs. 70%. 61% of single adults without children could not afford to meet these basic needs. When we broke down those numbers by race and gender, they were even more disturbing. So we are here today to sound the alarm that workers at $14 an hour minimum wage are still not making a living wage in Rhode Island.
Sound the alarm.
To keep up with inflation, workers in the state of Rhode Island should actually be making at least $23 an hour, so 15 is even at the bottom of that demand. And for those who would say businesses cannot afford to pay for workers so that they can feed their families, To you I say, you have fallen for the fallacy that the United States and Rhode Island cannot take care of working people and support small businesses at the same time. Dr. King warned us about this fallacy.
Yes.
He warned us about falling for a fallacy and challenged us to refuse to believe that there are insufficient funds in the great vaults of opportunity of this nation. We must continue to sound the alarm that poor and low-wage workers cannot be an afterthought. They must be valued and they must be a priority. Low-wage workers sacrifice to make profits for corporations and to keep our economy strong. They sacrifice to take care of us, our children, our parents. They are essential, as we knew during the pandemic, to keep our society functioning. Despite knowing this, leaders continue to make policy choices that keep people in poverty. Choices like allowing Rhode Islanders that make less than $21,000 a year to pay 14% of their income in income property sale estate taxes, while those making over $467 a year get to pay only 8% of their income in taxes. Not only is this unfair, it robs us of additional revenue that could be used to pay for childcare, education, public transportation, and maybe even help maintain our bridges. Our leaders make policy choices like not increasing the minimum wage to a living wage, even though we continue to sound the alarm that too many Rhode Islanders are not able to meet their basic needs. They make policy choices like stopping the child tax credit that was proven to cut child poverty into half. As a nation, our leaders continue to make policy choices to spend billions of dollars on the criminal legal system that has been set up to penalize Black, Latino, Indigenous people, and set up to criminalize poverty instead of investing in our communities. They make policy choices not to center equity to prevent harm from poor people and low-wage workers and close the racial wealth gap. Together, we are here today to sound the alarm that they have made too many wrong policy choices for too many years, and people are suffering and dying. I urge you today to continue to stand together, show up at the State House and demand that they make the right policy choices for our communities. Forward together.
Not one step back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Tashir Battle. I represent Ocean State Environmental Justice Alliance as well as Roots to Empower. Let me just get my center. We are facing a global ecological crisis with climate change, deforestation, pollution, and loss of biodiversity wreak havoc on our planet. These environmental challenges not only endanger the health and well-being of ecosystems and wildlife, but also pose grave threats to human communities, particularly those who are already marginalized and vulnerable. We know the burden of environmental degradation falls disproportionately on low-income and minority communities, who are often located in industrial sites, landfills, and other sources of pollution. These communities are more likely to suffer from health problems related to environmental pollution, such as respiratory illness, cancer, and developmental disorders, further exacerbating their vulnerability and disadvantage. Who's behind it? Corporate interests often prioritize profit over environmental conservation, exploiting natural resources, and polluting the environment for financial gain. So what can we do?
What can we do?
What can we do? Demand accountability for these corporations and industries responsible for environmental degradation, and support efforts to transition to sustainable and equitable economic practices. We recognize the intersectionality of environmental and social issues and support movements like this that support these interconnected challenges. And we amplify the voices of those most affected by ecological devastation. And work together to build a more just and sustainable society for all. By addressing the root causes of poverty, inequality, and environmental injustice, and policies that prioritize the well-being of all communities, we can work towards a more equitable and sustainable future for all generations to come.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Forward together.
I also want to say good afternoon. In Isaiah it says that everybody is God's somebody. And that is an important piece of information. Jesus asked a question, and in that question, actually he just made a statement that when I was hungry, you did not feed me.
Come on.
When I was in the hospital, you didn't visit me.
Tell it.
When I was in prison, you did not come unto me. The response was, Lord, when did we not do this?
Come on.
And his response was, if you haven't done this for the least of these, you haven't done it for me.
Make it plain.
Do they read the Bible?
Make it plain.
Are they Christians? I understand that we have a broken immigration system.
Yes.
But I also know that we have a broken incarceration system. I'm not there as a chair, but I'm also a formerly incarcerated individual, served a life sentence. But when I look back at all the people that are currently coming out of prison and have come out, you talk about living in poverty.
Tell it.
We need to wrap our arms around them. They're sleeping where I slept. I slept in a graveyard way in the back because that made me feel safe.
Wow.
There are people who need to feel safe. I know they're supposedly building these little houses, but we need to love them too.
Yes.
And we need to certainly fix the immigration system. But oh Lord, we need to fix this incarceration system. Where do you go when you got no money and they open the door and say, bye? Get out. Where do you go?
Where do you go?
How can you get a job? How do you feed yourself? Fortunately, we can get some sustenance from some of the Sisters of Mercy. When I talk about them, I have to talk about Sister Mary Agnes, who used to warm my jacket.
Tell it.
But I'm going to be brief, and I just want to include these individuals in this whole process. I joined this campaign, and we're taking the mic back from extremists.
Yes.
We're raising our voices.
Yes.
And make our power felt from the State House to the White House and this outhouse over here. To wake the sleeping giant.
Wake.
And to be a resurrection.
Resurrection.
Not an insurrection.
Not insurrection.
Listen, I want y'all to pray for me that we continue this journey.
Yes.
And believe this, God is a good God.
Yes,
he sits high, but he looks low. So God bless you, and thank you for allowing me to speak.
Forward together. Now one step back. All right, take the mic.
Well, Joe's a tough act to follow. I'm Eric Hirsch. I'm a professor over at Providence College. Since I've been in Rhode Island, that was in 1990, I've been trying to end homelessness, especially long-term homelessness. I'm currently the interim director of the Rhode Island Homeless Advocacy Project. And that's because the actual director, Barber II, has had a number of serious illnesses, probably due to sleeping in a tent for years, a number of years ago. So we are in the midst of a horrendous crisis which seems to be almost invisible to most people in the state, and that's a crisis of homelessness. In 2019, we had maybe 1,000 people at any given time, maybe 4,000 over the course of a year. Because of COVID and because of the unbelievably rapidly increasing rents, we're now over 2,000 people at any given time, and probably 8,000 over the course of the year. The latest numbers we have in terms of people outside, which used to be around 50, it's now 10 times that. The latest number is 539 people living outside, and well over 2,000 people, I'm guessing, in terms of when we get the current count of people who are out there. People in power have tried to ignore this as much as possible. Why is that? It's because they want rents to be really high. A 2-bedroom rent in Providence is going for $2,500. Daniel hit the nail on the head. What do you need to afford that? You need $100,000 a year to afford a 2-bedroom rent. This is a broken system. Depending on the market to distribute housing is not working, probably for 85% of households. But we just keep rolling merrily along like there's nothing wrong. And the people most vulnerable, most suffering, are people living outside. There's someone who's going to be here who's in the hospital with frostbite on his toes right now as we speak. We memorialize over 40 people who died while homeless. I'm sure that's a drastic undercount. So everything that people are talking about, $100 million housing bond, that's not going to solve this problem. A lot of that's going to go to middle income people. We need a much larger housing bond, and we need to focus on creating permanent supportive housing, housing subsidized for extremely low income people. Let's say you're on SSI, you're completely disabled. You're getting $10,000 a year total to pay for everything you need. That's outrageous. Those people need $200 rents, not $2,500 rents. So how are we going to make this happen? Because a lot of people in General Assembly are landlords. The husband of our current mayor here is a real estate developer. And Mayor Smiley mainly wants to send police to clear tent encampments rather than help anyone who's out there on the street. So RIHAP has continued to protest. We've probably done dozens of protests over the last few years. We're going to continue that. We ask all of you to agree with us that this situation is totally unacceptable, that we won't stand for it, and that we'll continue to protest until it's addressed and people are off the street.
Somebody's hurting our people, and it's gone on. And it's gone on. My sister from our tribal organization.
Hello, Oscar Wikwasin. My name is Bella Noka, Mishki Wupai. I am a Narragansett tribal elder, and I would like to welcome you to our lands. For those who speak of immigration, when you are challenged or questioned about your citizenship, let them know that the Narragansetts welcome you. Anything else does not matter because they too are immigrants. Now, I've come here. I grew up in Chad Brown, East Side, Fox Point. I grew up in some of the poorest areas, but the richest. We were rich in many ways. We were economically poor, but we were rich in culture, tradition, and in community. But they came in and they broke up our communities. After COVID, the Bostonians and the New Yorkers came with all their deep pockets. And right now in this room, we are low in numbers, but each and every one of us carry a message to hundreds. My point here today is that East Providence is planning to build a development that's going to house 850 units. In all of those units, there is no low income there. There is affordable, and there is a difference between low income and affordable. Low income is about the poor people. Affordable goes with the median of what that community makes, and they are going to be millionaires. And when those millionaires come, because it's going to be on the waterfront, and that is high pop, they're going to come with numbers, and they're going to fill up the courthouses, legislations. They're going to write the policy, and they're going to tell us what to do, and we will have nowhere to go. The good thing right now is that they're trying to build on my ancient burial ground, and I say good because we can stand together and we can stop this unit from being built. You don't kill my people, and then when that's not enough for you, you dig them back up to build over them. Now, the Rhode Island Historic Preservation Office also has a concern. The mayor of East Providence is working in collaboration. How do they say? Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Let's correct that, because you must put that there or else they're going to come and sue you. Allegedly working in collaboration with them and with PAL. PAL is an archaeological company that puts false information so that the developers can dig. They're supposed to be working with the tribe once there is proof that there is ancient burial remains there. They found one, dug it up, and then destroyed the whole burial in 1934. Now they're finding more, and they're trying to do the same. That is an ancient burial. That's like digging up your loved ones. It is sacred. Our people are sacred. So what you are seeing now here with Palestine, that is what happened with my people. Okay? I am not going to leave Palestine out of this conversation. So, to all my brothers and sisters, I'm a family of 9. I have gone through economic crisis, but I was never poor. I was rich, but economically out of it. And it was hard, and there were struggles, and when it was cold, there were icicles in my hair, and I slept 4 to a bed, and I had that same pot of soup for 3 and 4 days, and a 50-pound bag of potatoes, and the crate of chicken that had to last forever, if you all know what I mean. And right now, I'm doing fairly well, thank the Creator, but I'm not doing well until everyone is doing well. And I have brothers and sisters and nieces and family members and cousins and people like yourself. And I will be damned, excuse my expression, if I house a car before I house a people. So my garages are being transitioned into homes so that I can house people. And this is what we must do. Yes, it's good to do all this, but we must get our brilliant young technology savvy children to meet every week and put together a format and talk shows and everything else where we don't just have to meet here. Our voices are going on every single day, all day, until we reach everyone. So I love you all, Tabatne, which means thank you in my language, but you are not to take the words of the oppressors and feel bad, because you are welcome and we love you. Asko Ipaz.
Everybody has a right to live. Can you say that? Everybody has a right to live. At this time, we want to just thank all those who may not have had an opportunity to share your story, or organization that's here that was not able to share. But trust me, this is just the beginning. Say the beginning. The beginning. And we're going to let you know in a few moments, we have a call to action, because after this, we've had over 100 and some odd people here, so we are going to now mobilize and act this thing, that we're going from coming together with the call, and now we're going to take it out and begin to say act with me. And as we do that, we're going to have this song, and then we're going to have Juan Pablo come and just share the call of action, and then we're going to dismiss and unison together. Is that all right? A couple of more minutes. Let's go. Call to action.
Y'all gonna help me tell hatred we're gonna tear your kingdom down. Oh, hatred, we're gonna tear your kingdom down. Hatred, we're gonna tear your kingdom down.
Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the whole time that you've been here. Thank you for your energy. I want to remind everybody that has stayed for us all this time.
Yes.
We are a lot more than the faces that you are seeing here right now. I want you to think for a moment that this has happened and is closing up in over 34 states and DC. So please consider that whoever you're looking right here around you, there's a room right like this in Maine. There's a group like this in Massachusetts. There's a group like this in every of the 34 states that we've done this together. So you're not alone. We are plenty. We are taking that injustice kingdom down. We are demanding our elected officials to do their job, to take the needs of Rhode Islanders seriously. We know the power that state houses have. We know how they impact policy. And I'm gonna just say one more time, these 13 demands that we have with us today and that we are gonna deliver to each member of the State House this week. And I'm just gonna say one more time, and after each one, I ask you to join me in saying forward together. Okay. Abolishing poverty as the fourth leading cause of death in the U.S.
Forward together.
A living minimum wage of at least $16 an hour.
Forward together.
We need $27 an hour to live, not in 5 years, not in a progressive, not in 16 this year, 17. No, we need $27 an hour today.
Forward together.
Full and expanded voting rights.
Forward together.
And I'm including here the voter suppression that our incarcerated folks receive both in theory and in practice.
Forward together.
Guaranteed worker rights and labor rights.
Forward together.
Health care for all.
Forward together.
Affordable, adequate housing.
Forward together.
An end to gun violence, to profit and proliferation.
Forward together.
Fully protected women's rights.
Forward together.
Environmental justice.
Forward together.
Secure, clean air and water.
Forward together.
Fully funded public education.
Forward together.
Just immigration laws.
Forward together.
And an aid to hate, division, the extremely political agenda that tries to separate us.
Forward together.
Together we mobilize with other 34 states and DC to send this clear message to our state assemblies. We are waking the sleeping giant that is the voters of the votes of poor and low income people in this state.
Good.
We have the power of our vote. And we are gonna be back on March 4th.
March 4th.
2 days from now, we're coming back to the State House
back
to deliver our demands to every single office of the state legislature. Join us.
Join us.
We need volunteers. On June 15th, we will take our demands all the way to Washington, all the way to the nation's capital, to march on Congress for a mass poor people's and low-wage workers moral march on Washington.
Yes.
Last year, we were 750 people from all over the country. We are going to be a lot more this year. Join us.
Join us.
1,000, not just 750.
We are going to launch a summer of intensified voter mobilization, mobilizing the 15 million poor and low-wage, low-frequency voters towards the November 5th elections. Join us.
Join us.
We will come back 2 years to this date. We're coming back on 2025 to the same State House, and we're going to be a lot more people when we're going to keep bringing all of these demands until they are met. We need a minimum of 100 volunteers this year. We've been 100 on this meeting room. If everybody here can offer a little bit of their time to volunteer, to mobilize the voters, we need you to mobilize all across Rhode Island to reach out the poor and low-wage voters. We need you to tell your friend about the Poor People's Campaign. We need you to share that poorpeoplescampaign.org. They can find everything that we're demanding. They can find every mobilization that we're doing. Just go there and you can text moral and tell your friends to text moral. Tell your best friend, tell your worst friend, tell your uncle tell your uncle that wants you to vote for this or that president in every family meeting. Tell your mom, tell your cousin, tell your faith leader to text moral to 38542 to become a part of this moral movement. Forward together.
Now one step back.
Forward together.
Not one step back.
Forward together.
Not one step back.
Come on, put your hands together. And that number once again is Moral 3852. Let's stand together and let's get ready to leave this place with up above our head. Set it right again. March 5th, that's a good see. We ready to take action. Where are we meeting March 5th?
So,
Pamela, where are we meeting?
I would say that we need to meet at the entrance because I haven't gotten to that yet.
Well, this is how we'll also do. Facebook. We're
Yes.
on Facebook.
Yes.
We're going to have all of that information
Yes,
on
it'll
Facebook.
come out.
Or
Action
look
Network.
at the website. We'll have all of that. God bless you. We'll see you March 5th. We'll see you June 5th. March 4th. Thank you. March 4th. Come on, Sisters of Mercy. Help us out. March 4th, June